Hi, I'm Walter Campbell with Charleston County School District. We're a district of 50,000 students. Today, I'm here to talk to you about breakfast after the bell. And I don't need to throw a lot of data at you because I know that, skipping breakfast makes it harder for our kids to learn. I think you also know, and I don't need to tell you, that a breakfast after the bell program is going to increase participation and make your business more financially stable and your program more healthy, and you're going to reach more kids. But if you're going to really be part of this program, you need to set goals for expanding your breakfast after the bell program. And with those goals, you're going to need a strategic plan. You're going to need a timeline. You're going to need a training program, lots of communication, plus marketing and promotion. So I think you need to start with a few questions that you need to ask yourself, then answer these questions as being part of your training program. So the first question that you need to ask yourself is, my administration is concerned about learning loss. Well, first you need to know that breakfast after the bell is hands down one of the most effective ways to increase participation, hands down. And you need to make sure you train your team and that they know the same thing, that hands down, this is the most effective way to increase participation. And it needs to be part of your training. So why is it that all of a sudden you've got principals or someone else that will come up and say, hey, we don't want to do this? Because imagine during testing week. And during testing week, the principal comes to you and says, hey, we need a hearty breakfast this week, but you've been serving a hearty breakfast all year long. Or, hey, we're going to allow more time for our kids to eat breakfast so they'll have a hearty breakfast and do better on the test. So they already know the importance of a healthy breakfast. So next question, did you ask yourself to put part of training, which breakfast after the bell model that you want to use and which will make the biggest impact on participation? Well, I think all the models have a positive impact on participation, okay? One model may work better than another model in one school versus another school, so you need to consider that. And I advise that you build a training plan, okay, and logistics for all three models. And keeping in mind that some school buildings may require a blend of the two different models. So this kind of leads us into question 3 you need to ask yourself to be part of training. And it's a little bit with question 2 is, how do you choose the ultimate program you want for breakfast? And you may choose one, but I suggest you make your plan for all three models and then possibly pilot the one that you want to do. Because I'm going to repeat this, what you do in an elementary school is not going to work in the middle of high school. What you do in elementary school is not going to work in the middle of high school. So the next thing you want to look at is I call it question 4 as part of your training when you're putting together. Is there funding available to assist you in launching this breakfast program? And the simple answer is yes, there is funding available. One of the quickest ideas and one of the contacts that you need to make is with your dairy council. The dairy council has funding for these types of programs. So that's a start. So number 5 question is going to be, what happens when I start approaching the stakeholders? You probably already know what the roadblocks are going to be and what the speed bumps are going to be that your stakeholders are going to put in place. And this is why you make this part of your plan and part of your training and everything you develop. You get the answers up front to the questions that not only you are going to be hit with, but your team is going to be hit with. You may end up actually making a little cheat sheet for your team that's out in the school so they can answer questions of stakeholders like your teachers, your custodials, your principal on why we want to do that. Another thought, and this is a great one, is develop a plan with other directors. Start a peer-to-peer group. This particular peer group is our peer group, which we started with 4 districts. It is over 23 districts that are a peer-to-peer group now. So partner with a fellow director and start brainstorming and build the breakfast after the bell program together, build a training together. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's already a lot of great programs out there that are already established for breakfast after the bell. You know, plus there's groups out there like No Kid Hungry, like your state agencies, like nonprofits that are all willing to help. Now, these folks have already gotten all the speed bumps worked out, all the roadblocks worked out. So tap into them. And I always tell our team, we are not in competition with each other. So we're all here to help each other. So reach out to folks so you can get the help to put this together. So let's go back to stakeholders. Whatever model that you use, whether it's going to be second chance breakfast, or you're going to use grab and go breakfast, or the actual breakfast in the classroom model, whichever model you use, is going to be stakeholders. And in your plan, you're going to need to write the responsibilities and the roles for all these stakeholders, because these are going to be outlined in details, because details count if you want this program to be sustainable. You're going to have detail roles for your principal, your school nurse, your custodian, teachers, your students, and definitely your staff, and hopefully, if you've got one, your registered dietitian. So besides a detailed written plan, you're also going to need a detailed timeline prior to your rollout. You need to learn all you can, as we said, with the peer-to-peer group, whoever you want to work with, to develop a really good breakfast after the bell program. So you need this information, and you take it and you put it into a really nice short presentation so you can present it to your principal or your superintendent or whoever's above you and your teachers, so you can get the buy-in. You invite them to give feedback on it and contribute to the program, and you start that buy-in. You address any challenges that you may already have. And on a timeline, this could be 2 to 3 months before you even serve the first breakfast after the bell program. And so why do I say that? Why? Because you want to make sure that, I've seen so many times, you have, oh, we started this last week, or we started this 3 months ago. A year from now, you go, whatever happened to that program? You didn't make it sustainable. This is also a time, again, in your timeline, go back and look at grant funding. Where can I find grant funding? And my experience is that if you can get a little bit of grant funding to expand your breakfast after the bell program, after that, the program is going to basically fund itself. Okay. So get the funding, the initial funding, and it'll fund itself. And when you put the training manual together, make sure that is extremely professional, because you're a professional business. Now you put your training program together and you're ready to launch it out to your stakeholders. So you need to set up meetings with your teachers, with your staff, maybe with your principal again, getting more buy-in, and make it fun and informative. But you've got to do this. You're setting the stage for a launch of a brand new program. So the next step, I would think, would be to inform the parents or the guardians about your program. But of course, I forgot one huge step, your students. And in our district, students are the heart of the work. So you need to set up meetings with your students, because I've always said that it's not nutrition if the kids don't eat it. So you set up meetings with your students, you get feedback and buy-in from them, and then put that into part of your training program. Then the next step on your timeline, because you haven't even served the first breakfast after the bell meeting yet, is you need to look at, okay, have I ordered my equipment yet? Have I ordered the supplies to make this rollout go well? Make sure that's in place. And before I forget, integrity needs to be a big part of your training. And what I mean by that is how you account for your meals. That training needs to go to your cafeteria folks, to the teachers in the classrooms, because if you're not accounting for your meals properly, then it's going to mess up your entire program. Accountability counts. Another additional item that should be part of your training is nutritional education. And all these pictures you see here are from our district, where we've done nutrition education using our registered dietitian and interns, and some of our actual managers going into the classroom to do this. Now, you may not have a registered dietitian. You could contract one. In a lot of cases now, what I've seen is directors are registered dietitians. So you're really, really lucky. So part of your training plan needs to be instruction of your team on the nutritional value of the menu. Your team needs to understand that that menu has nutritional value. So that can be imparted into the students. This can be done through posters, bulletin boards, or in this case, when we actually get into the classroom to teach our students about a healthy breakfast. And getting into these classrooms and teaching the kids about a healthy breakfast, okay, increases the participation automatically. Next step, then you can communicate and market your program. I tell my folks this all the time. Don't, under any circumstances, believe you have a captive audience. Just because the kids are already in school, you do not. So the next thing you do is you're going to email the plan, the menu, the start date. You can create some hype to the parents and to the guardians with any promotions you have and anything you might be running. And make sure the message goes out and is available in multiple languages because you want to reach all of your students. So next thing, postings around the school, signage about the program coming up, in the bus loop, in the car loop. So next, you're going to post on your social media site. And if you are not posting things on your social media site, you're missing the boat. Because as soon as you start posting on your media site, your social media sites like Twitter and Facebook, it'll automatically increase participation. But like I tell folks, you need to tell your story on social media. Don't let somebody else tell it. So one suggestion also from a marketing standpoint would be, and we did this and it works. You partner with a high school, go to high school, go to their marketing department, because a lot of them will have a marketing department, and get their students to do a real world project on marketing your program. So now you're getting more students that are going to get a buy-in. So now you've done all this work, months of work, you're planning. So why not have a kickoff day? You know, even if it's one school that you want to create the buzz at, let's create the buzz. Again, as a side note, make sure your principals and your teachers are well aware of what you're doing. And then you might tie that kickoff into things like the 100th day of school, or what I like to do is I like to tie it into the start of baseball season. But be creative, make it fun. The other thing that you want to look for is incentives or prizes. And those always work. And you can get these from your brokers, from your manufacturers, donations from local companies. Folks out there, if they see you creating this buzz, they want to be part of it. And in my opinion, these incentives need to not only go to the students to increase participation, but also to your staff. So again, so that they get the buy-in. A couple of final ideas as far as fun things to do. Have a celebrity come in and serve on the grab and go cart. Or it might be your local weatherman. They love to do that. Have them come in. Or have a local chef come in. That's what we did in that center picture. Have breakfast with the principal once a month so that you meet with the principal and the students and you continue to create that buzz. Or do you remember they used to do mustache day, milk mustache day? Start that back. Even if you start it in a pilot and do this one class, it's going to increase participation for breakfast after the bell. Or have at the grab and go station on the game day, have the football team with their jerseys, have the football team serving grab and go breakfast. You want to create a buzz. Let me tell you how simple it is. So this bottom picture, you'll see Shel Silverstein, who's a famous poet. We went to a school and we said, hey, we want to increase our breakfast after the bell participation. We want your students to come up, and this is an elementary school, they come up with names for all our menu items. Well, they've been studying this famous poet's works. So they named all the menu items after characters in this book. And all we do is post the menu. And participation breakfast after the bell increased by 15%. 15%. So it can be as simple as that. So one last thing is what I always tell my folks at the August PD or August professional development is training and being prepared is very important. So I want you to stay tuned for tomorrow when we'll talk about launching and sustaining your breakfast program. Thank you.